I'd like to first thank you all for joining us this morning. I stand here today with local leaders. The local leaders that are here today, I'd also like to thank Mayor Artis for the City of Peoria, County Board Member Andrew Rand, County Board Chairman Tom O'Neill, Bartonville Alderman Leon Ricca, Mayor of West Peoria Jimmy Dillon, and Mayor of Peoria Heights, Mayor Mark Allen. We all stand here today in unison to speak to the local government sharing dollars cut that was made last week by Governor Quinn. Right now, local government sharing dollars is about 10% of the overall income tax. So the state takes about 90% of that tax, and the local government sharing portion is 10%. In last week's budget address to the General Assembly, the suggestion was made to cut that by 30%. Immediately, I contacted, thank God for technology, I contacted Mayor Artis via text message, and I contacted City Manager Scott Moore, because I wanted to know what would that do to our local community, because oftentimes when we begin to talk about cuts in Springfield and trimming back in certain areas, when you talk about cutting local government or municipalities, it's hard for the average citizen to wrap their mind around what that cut actually means. So when I contacted Mayor Artis and City Manager Scott Moore, they immediately told me that that cut would mean about $3 million for the City of Peoria. And we all know the painstaking task that Mayor Artis and the Peoria City Council took with taking a lot of time and going over this year's budget. So at that point, I realized that there's, number one, whenever there's a budget proposal, it is just that, a proposal. It's a starting point. We have to find ways to come together. Without question, there is a budget shortfall, and there are cuts that are going to be made in certain areas. But I do think that we have to be cognizant about where those cuts are. Municipalities have already taken a severe cut because of the economic recession that we're in. They've already made efficiencies, they've already made layoffs. The cut in aggregate to the entire state of Illinois with the local government sharing dollars would be around $300 million. Now, $300 million without question sounds like a lot of money, but when you think about the $11 to $13 billion deficit that we're facing, that really isn't even a drop in the bucket as it relates to Illinois' budget deficit. $300 million to local governments is a devastating blow. The local government sharing dollars oftentimes go to take care of the vital and essential services, police, fire, and many other services that our citizens throughout the community appreciate and expect. So it's contingent upon us to ensure that when everyday citizens hear about this cut, that they understand what that cut actually means. That is the reason why we brought local leaders here today to specifically talk about what those cuts would mean as it relates to people, because that oftentimes gets lost in the wash, because these are real problems that must have real solutions. It's important that we understand that when we talk about cuts on a municipality, that doesn't cut Democrat, Republican, Independent. That cuts every which way. Every group, every organization that is facing a cut, if your municipalities are cut, you're going to be cut twice, because we all rely on our local government to provide our essential needs. So with no further ado, I'd like to ask Mayor Artis and my other mayors and county board members, as well as local leaders, to talk about what those cuts would specifically do to our local community. Mayor Artis?
Well, I'd like to, really there's not a lot I can repeat. Representative Gordon already identified the hit that it would take to Peoria if this portion of the income tax were reduced. $3 million is a huge hit for the city of Peoria on top of the decisions that we had to make last year. We were facing a $14.5 million deficit, and the city of Peoria eliminated 77 positions in addition to a reduction of a large number of programs in the city. The leadership that Representative Gordon is taking to stand up for us in her district is very much appreciated by myself and the other elected officials behind me, especially in light of the governor and in her own party that's recommending these drastic cuts to our revenues. It's unacceptable. It's very concerning that the governor would even look to us to continue to supply them with more money in light of the difficult decisions that we've already made at the local level. And I hope that our other local elected state officials will stand arm in arm with Representative Gordon to protect the small resources that we're already trying to deal with. So thank you very much for your leadership in that regard.
Good morning. A 3% loss for the county of Peoria would be $1 million on top of $1.5 billion that's lost already from so many people being on unemployment. This could translate to 22 positions for the county, just this loss alone. Loss of revenue may impact services that we dealt with last time getting around, but public safety is a big concern, and the court system. We took many steps to make difficult decisions to impact a 10% decrease in revenue for our citizens. We're hoping also that other units of our people at state representing us will help Representative Gordon to stop the cuts for here, because you know, we do not have the problem, the state has a problem, so why should we take their loss? Thank you.
Morning, I'm Leon Ricker from Bartonville. The state money we receive from this tax is about $585,000 a year. If we would lose the 30%, that translates to like almost $175,000 or a little over that, which in our village is 3 or 4 policemen or almost our entire dispatcher staff at the 911 building. So, you know, it's a hit that we just can't afford to take. I, like Mayor August and the rest of the leaders here, appreciate Ms. Gordon's leadership in coming forward with this. And like Jim said, she's standing up against the governor of her own party, and we appreciate that very much. Thank you, John.
I'd like to thank Representative Gordon for bringing us together today and for her leadership. It's nice to have somebody in Springfield that knows the effects on local governments. And as a small community, we were very fortunate last year with our budget because our sales tax has been up. And unfortunately, with some of the things that's gone on in Springfield, we're already taking about a 7% cut in our budget, which represented about $70,000. And now with this proposal that the governor's putting on, it's going to take about another $110,000 out of our budget for next year. And for a small municipality, that's a major hit. And hopefully the governor will come to his senses and listen to our representatives and will change his mind. Thank you.
I'm Mark Allen from Peoria Heights, and I echo everybody else with thanking Representative Gordon for taking the initiative, for taking on a kind of an unpopular subject, but it would be about $150,000 cut to Peoria Heights, which, like Mayor Dillon and Mr. Ricca pointed out, was that in a small municipality, that is a sizable chunk of money, about 5% of our total revenues. So we're, like a lot of small municipalities, we're running lean and mean as it is. So to lose $150,000, we'll have to cut into services that we really don't want to cut into. And I understand we're all in this together, the state and the municipalities, but I think through the years you can say that 10% of the income tax coming to the municipalities has been a bargain through the years for all the services that we give to the people. So we really want everyone to understand that this will have a direct impact on people at their personal level in their homes and in their communities. And once again, thank you to Representative Gordon for taking the initiative and going forth with getting the information out to the people. Thank you.